Hi there, I'm Jen, this is Remembered Reads, and this is going to be an announcement video for the 2020 March Mystery Madness mystery-themed read-along. And excitingly, this is the 5th anniversary of March Mystery Madness. March Mystery Madness was created by Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books and Troi back 5 years ago, and in the second year they were joined by Di from Disis19 Hearts, and in years 3, 4, and 5, a whole host of extra hosts have been added to kind of encourage people in different subsections of BookTube to think about the various subgenres that fall into mystery reading. Because if you don't like whodunits or you don't like thrillers, there's actually quite a bit more to the category and the overlapping genres that can be considered mysteries that people don't necessarily think about. There are, after all, pieces of literary fiction that have mystery elements that would count. Thrillers of not only the domestic thriller type, but political thrillers and military thrillers also could be considered mystery. And of course, traditional whodunits run the gamut from the hard-boiled, pulpy style to the very light, cozy style and everything in between. And of course, mysteries can be found in every format. You don't need to read a full novel. If you want to read a short story, right, that's participation too. There are all kinds of comic series that also fall into the category. There's a lot of variety that you could be enjoying. As always, I will link to the official social media channels below, as well as to all of the channels of the creators and the hosts who are involved. Because this is the 5th anniversary, there is a set of number 5 and 5th themed prompts. Now, you don't have to participate in these prompts, they're just for fun. If you read one mystery in the entire month, you're participating. If you choose to read nothing but mysteries in March, you are definitely participating. But if you are the kind of person who loves extra prompts or reading challenges, we have some prompts for you. One prompt is to read the 5th book in a series. Now, a lot of traditional style mysteries do come in series that can be almost endless. For example, if you think about Sue Grafton's Alphabet series, this is obviously not the 5th one because it's W, but E is for evidence. That would be a great example of something that you could do for this one. If you were reading short stories, you could read the 5th short story in a collection. Or if you're reading comics and floppies, you could read issue 5 in a series. Another prompt is a book with 5 words in the title. So something like The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie, that fulfills it. And I think a lot of traditional mysteries are titled in this style, so it will be fairly easy to find other ones like this. Another prompt is to pick up a book with a page count that's divisible by 5. So for example, Whitewater Terror from the Nancy Drew Files series is 150 pages. So you could wander through a library or bookstore and just take a peek at the page counts and find something that would fulfill that one. I'd just like to take a moment to enjoy the pure 80s-ness of this cover for a moment while I'm holding this up, because that is actually really hilarious. Another challenge would be to pick a book with the word either 5 or 5th or the number 5 in the title. This is, again, not the right book in the series to fulfill it, but the John the Eunuch mysteries by Mary Read and Eric Meyer each start with a number. So 5 is for Silver, the book that's immediately before this one that I'm holding up, would easily fulfill this prompt. And frankly, it's because a lot of books will have the volume number on the cover. This would be an easy one to tie together with the 5th book in the series, because if something says volume 5 on the cover, there you go. Double up on that one. Another prompt is to pick a book that was first published in a year that's divisible by 5. In that case, this book, 6 for Gold, does actually fulfill that prompt itself. This is from 2005. And again, this is another one where you can scan through the books you own, the books at the library, the books at the bookstore, just to specifically look at the copyright dates. Technically, the rules are that it has to be first published in a year divisible by 5 like this one, but I think if you were to cheat and pick a book that just had an edition published in a year that's divisible by 5, I don't think anyone's going to complain. Another prompt is to read a book that's published in the 5th month of the year, which is May. I don't tend to pay close attention to publication months, but if you receive review copies from publishers, or if you request review copies through NetGalley, this would be a great way to get some of those off the list if they're being published this May. And finally, since the 5th wedding anniversary gift is wood, this prompt would be to pick a book with a tree or something else wooden on the cover. I think there are a lot of cozy mysteries that have historic wooden buildings, so there would be one. I think there are a lot of mysteries set in rural areas where someone has wooden duck decoys on a shelf on the cover, that could count. And if you don't have any of those things, the very easy way to fulfill this prompt is just to read a physical book, because most physical books, unless you happen to have a very odd or antique cloth or leather book, are printed on paper, which is a tree, which is wood. So there you go. Whether you are an avid mystery reader regularly or not, I hope you'll be joining us for this 5th anniversary of March Mystery Madness. It is always great fun. Get all those mysteries out of your system. If you're not a regular reader of mysteries, but you have some on your TBR, it'll be great. Anyway, that's it for now. Ciao.